2021, we did not have a Walmart Plus membership, so I was only ordering from Instacart, and the total that I spent was $746.55. In August of 22, I also did not have a Walmart Plus membership. I joined in September, the month after this. Our groceries went from $746.55 to $1,493.08. This year, I do have a Walmart Plus membership, so I placed orders on both Instacart and Walmart Plus with a total of $1,650.92. Mind you, this is just the month of August for 21, 22, and 23, but our groceries have over doubled.
Now, what's fascinating is that the government has managed successfully, I may add, to push this conspiracy theory that the store owners have gotten together into a dark room and started conspiring with each other. And they were like, let's raise the prices. And this happened out of the blue for no reason whatsoever. They were just like, all right, well, let's mess with the Biden. Let's mess with the economy. Let's raise the prices. And as you can see, there are people here who are saying companies are charging more and giving less. They claim that their prices are soaring, but how could that have been when most of it is processed fake garbage? Over the years, they have designed food to cost less and charge more. Huge profits. Okay, so these individuals, they legitimately believe that this is a conspiracy theory by the companies and I guess like the food manufacturers, which I guess like right after the pandemic, they decided to make killer profits by charging people more. Now, what's interesting is that these companies aren't really profiting as well. Like if that was the case, right? Like if these were greedy corporations that were trying to make a living out of your back, wouldn't they open brand new stores? Wouldn't they be expanding? Wouldn't they hire new people? Would it like you notice the luxury and extravagance that they're having, similar to the banks? Like notice how the banks, whenever a business closes in a big city, usually like a new bank popping up in the area, right? Like they're always expanding. They're always doing well. So why is this? Like why is this inflation happening? I mean, it's very easy to explain, but unfortunately they don't teach you this in school. It's like one of those things that I guess is not as important as learning the LGBTs. Here's what's going on. At every moment in every year, there is a finite amount of goods in the United States. Now this is bewildering for people because they're used to going to the supermarket and the shelves are always filled. So it gives you the illusion that the goods, like, they just pop out of nowhere. They come from the walls. They sprout from the supermarket. So whenever you go there will always be stuff. Like, no matter how much people buy, no matter what happens, like, there will always be stuff in the supermarket. But in reality, if you freeze time right now, right, it's common sense that the number of goods in the United States is finite. Of course, you do have things that are being produced right now. So you have future crops, you have more chickens that are being grown, you have more cows that are being grown. And all of this is going to be food for the future, but it's being produced right now, so it's not within the supermarkets. Now, people, they have their way of living. So the economy usually, if stable, people are going to consume based on how much money they have. So some people who can afford, they're going to go every day to a restaurant, and they're going to eat more meals, they're going to buy more expensive food. While people who don't afford as much, they may not go to restaurants, or they may go to a cheaper place. But this is usually stabilized based on how much money people have. Now, when you're the government and you start printing money like crazy, like during the pandemic, you tell people to stay home, stay safe, and they're not allowed to go to work. They're not allowed to keep the economy from producing more stuff. You're telling them to stay home. And on top of that, you're giving them more money. Well, now you're incentivizing them to buy more. So you're incentivizing them to go and consume more. And as we discussed initially, there is a finite number of goods out there. So what ends up happening is that the demand grows, but the supply stays the same. So all in all, you're going to have less stuff to go around, even though people have more money, and people will demand that they get the stuff, and they will offer to pay more. This is why the prices are going up. It's not like a conspiracy theory. It's not like the chief of Walmart and the chief of Costco got together in a dark room and said, hey, let's raise the prices on people. Let's become wealthy. Because if that was the case, why didn't they do it 5 years ago? Why didn't they do it 10 years ago? Again, Milton Friedman said very accurately that The corporations do not produce inflation. The consumers do not produce inflation. Iron sheiks in foreign countries do not produce inflation. Only the government can print money. Only the government can produce inflation. And I've been saying this on my channel ever since you had the Build Back Better idea. But more likely it was the infrastructure bill and many other times when the government decided to print money. I predicted that the inflation will happen. And there were experts in the media that were like, nee, as horses high on ivermectin as they were telling like, no, it's not going to happen. Like, we can print money like crazy. And it's not going to have any consequences, which again, like, leads the question, if that's the case, then why even tax people? What is the purpose of taxation then? Just print more fucking money. If you genuinely think that the economy is stable, and no matter what you do, it's going to not cause inflation, then stop taxing people. Just print more money. Oh, it does cause inflation. Oh, it devalues the dollar. Oh, this is why it's not a good idea. I see, naruhodo. So, with that out of the way, now that we noticed who caused the inflation, it's obvious that the same people who caused the inflation aren't going to want to be responsible for said inflation. So they're not going to admit that, yeah, we done fucked it up, so that they're never getting elected into office. Instead, they're going to blame, oh, it's those greedy corporations, it's those greedy people that are just raising the prices for no fucking reason out of nowhere. Vote for us, please. We're going to save you from these greedy people. We're going to legislate some more. We're going to increase their taxes. We're going to make life difficult for them until they become good common citizens and start selling food the way they used to. This is... And not to mention, right, like, besides the fact that the government printed money, you also have war in Ukraine. I don't know if people follow international politics, but there is a food shortage right now. In fact, there is a famine right now. It's just that the food is being taken by richer nations, right? So while people are starving in other parts of the world, while things are going tough, it's not at starvation levels yet, but things are going very tough in China, India, and Africa. Most of the developed nations, like the European Union and the United States, have managed to secure their supplies of food. But things are going really bad. Like, last time I remember, India was refusing to export, I believe it was rice or grain, doesn't really matter. But, like, more countries are starting to be less likely to trade food because they're noticing that this shortage is becoming worse. And of course, it's not just because of the pandemic, it's not due to the increase in gas prices, but it's also due to the fact there's a war in the fucking Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine was a major exporter of food in the world, not just in the region. And on top of that, you also have the bullshit that's happening in Netherlands, where the European Union is deciding that, okay, well, we need to care about the environment, so we need to fuck agriculture. This is why in Netherlands now the Farmers' Party is gaining ground, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be labeled as far-right bigots any day now. But things are getting worse because of that. And then on top of that, if you look at the United States, I've been told this is normal. I haven't followed the trend. But like every month or so is like another place that stocks food catching fire. Probably because of climate change, I assume. I don't know. I have to look into it. But it's like, oh, look, this massive compound that was stocking food is now on fire. Oh, this plane crashed right into this building, which was stocking food. It's almost like, just Google it if you don't believe me. Just Google it. It's every month or two now. So fucking bizarre. But again, I've been told that this is normal occurrence. So, I don't know, because I haven't like looked into it, like how many times food silos catch fire before 2020. I haven't done the research. But I've been told like this is normal. So, okay. Oh yeah, like that incident that happened in East Palestine with the train derailment, which dropped some toxic shit into the ground. Like, that's very close to a really good fertile area where a lot of crops are being grown. But still, you know, it's just like these things, which obviously is going to lead to the increase of costs in groceries. I mean, there's no way. And on top of that, you also have legislations that, again, like environmentalists say, well, if you're a truck driver, you can't drive trucks that were made before this year. You gotta upgrade. You gotta have, like, less CO2 emissions. So now they're causing shortage of truckers, and the truckers that are there, they're going to charge more. Again, food doesn't magically appear in the supermarket. It doesn't sprout from there. I know it's bizarre. Okay, I'm not an agricultural expert, but like I'm pretty sure farmers don't go to the supermarket in order to plant grain. It has to be transported there. It costs more money now. And also, gas is very important as well. Like, the farmer needs fertilizer. Usually when the price of gas goes up, every other price goes up, right? So, anyway, still, I'm curious, like, when it will stop. I assume it will stop when the government decides to stop printing money, but until that day, we need to keep blaming the supermarket, right? The greedy supermarkets. All over the world. Interesting. And it's only in the nations that printed money, by the way. Like, in the nations that didn't print money, you don't have this problem as bad. It's still a bad problem, because, again, like, the war in Ukraine. But, like, it's less as bad. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.